Hi, I'm Annette, and I'd like to welcome Cindy here today. She's our new team member, and she's going to do our sewing club. She has a lot of sewing talent to share with us, and I think you'll really enjoy what she has.
Thank you, Annette. I'm happy to be here.
So, Cindy, can you tell us a little bit what you're going to show us today?
Sure, I'd love to share with you. One of the things that I feel a lot of people like is working with large fonts. And FontWorks does an awesome job of working with large fonts. I've got some projects that we've done on the video here. We started with a pre-made pillow, which is a very fast gift. You can create a very large monogram, add a little decoration to it, create an oversized bed pillow with the large fonts. This is one that is used with multi-hooping, and we'll go over that in the video. And then the large applique fonts for a little baby quilt. I hope that you'll join us and we'll have some fun together.
Welcome to Phil's Sewing Club. My name's Cindy. I'm happy to show you today how to accomplish large letter embroidery with Designer's Gallery FontWorks. FontWorks includes 136 professionally digitized fonts and 23 professionally monogrammed fonts. In addition, FontWorks provides you the ability to auto-digitize fonts included in the font folder on your computer. You will have unlimited possibilities for creating custom embroidery fonts for your projects. Let's get started with FontWorks. Setting the recipe for your design page. You may set the recipe on your design page in FontWorks for the fabric of your project for optimal results. Choose the chef's hat on the top toolbar. This opens up the new page recipe. In the recipe, you can use that drop down to view the options for choosing a recipe for our project. I'm going to be stitching on woven fabrics today, so I'm going to keep it selected at the woven. In the recipe description, in the event that you're unsure of exactly which recipe to choose, you can view the recipe description, which provides more detailed information on the fabric or woven. If you scroll down, you're also going to see the fabric thickness, stretch, needle size recommended for this project, thread recommended, and the stabilizers, which is really helpful. Many people are often confused on which stabilizer to choose from. And this recipe will provide you the best stabilizer recommended for that project. You can also set the machine format for this design page. In the drop-down, all of the machine formats are provided, as FontWorks is a multi-formatted software. I'm going to stick with PES today as I'm using the PES format. Once I click OK, my design page is now set for optimal results on stitching on woven fabrics. FontWorks will create a custom hoop. In the event that you own a hoop larger or smaller than the built-in hoops in the hoop list, you may easily add that hoop. In this example, I'm adding the Baby Lock largest Solaris hoop. What I'll do is select the hoop on the top toolbar and then select hoop. I did confirm my Solaris largest hoop properties are not included in the hoop list. In order to add that hoop, I simply select New, insert the width of my largest Solaris frame, add the height, and I'm going to name my hoop Solaris. Once I click OK, I can confirm that my Solaris hoop is now set in the hoop list for the PES format. I can close this, and now I am ready to use that Solaris hoop for my project. For my first project, I'm going to create a large monogram pillow. I'm going to use the built-in monogram fonts, enlarge to the desired size, and create a custom fill for my monogram. I'm going to left click on the monogram option on the top toolbar, left click on my design page. Under the properties for my monograms, I have 23 professionally digitized monogram fonts to choose from. I'm going to select the round monogram for my project. For my letters, I'm going to type in my initials. Click apply, and I do like to view my monogram in the 3D view, so I'm going to left click the draw 3D on the top toolbar. Now I'm ready to size my monogram. I'm going to make a very large monogram. I'm going to use 8-inch height. Click apply. And if you notice, I'm receiving a warning that I've created satin segments that exceed the recommended maximum stitch length of 10 millimeters. So because I'm not going to use the satin, I'm just going to, at this time, ignore this warning by just clicking OK. I'm going to bring my monogram back into my design page view. So in my monogram properties, I'm going to select the fill. And the fill types, you can go standard or fancy. There are several different types of fills you can choose under the fancy fills. And I like to play every once in a while just to see what I enjoy. That's cute. But for now, I'm going to go with a more standard fill. And under the standard fill, there's several different patterns here also. I played with this and found that I like the zigzag fill the best. And I'm going to keep my stitch length at the 3.5 default. And I'm going to leave my density alone. When I click apply, you can see they have a nice zigzag, smoother fill for my embroidery and don't have to worry about those satin segments. Now, another option that I have is to give my monogram some decor. And FontWorks, the built-in decor, I have two options for the round monogram font. And for the 3 letters, I do prefer the smaller decor. It just rounds out that monogram and it gives it a complete look. I'm going to save this by clicking on the FontWorks icon and then saving as, first of all, my BLF, which is a working file. I'm going to choose my flash drive here. The BLF is saved as a working file so that in the event that you wanted to come back and let's just say, I want to change that zigzag to a fancy fill, I don't have to start from the beginning again. I just merely click on that BLF and then I can change it without starting over. So I'm going to save it as a BLF to my flash drive. And then if I'm happy with it and I know I'm going to stitch this out, I'm going to go back then and save this to my stitch format that I'm going to use on my embroidery machine. I'm using PES, so I'm going to save in the PES version 9. Click Save, and now I'm got that ready to stitch and take to my embroidery machine. To show you how to use that BLF, I'm going to open up a new page, and I'm going to bring in my BLF file. Click Open. Go to my 3D view, which is a little bit easier to view. And then I can go to my Fill tab, go to the Fancy Fill, and I can go ahead and let's go with this pattern 1. Click Apply, and now I've automatically changed without starting all over. That's a nice feature of using FontWorks. For my second project, I've chosen to do a bed pillow, an oversized bed pillow for my guest bedroom. I'd like it to say, always kiss me goodnight. Now, the pillow top is going to be about 28 inches wide by 14 inches tall. In order to use all that space for my text, I'm going to complete this in 3 different hoopings. Now, the first letter I want to create is always. I'm going to select the A text on the top toolbar, click on my design page. I do like that 3D view, so I'm always going to have it in 3D. I'm going to type in my always, click apply. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you the fonts that I have to choose from. There are 135 built-in professionally digitized fonts. The fonts with the red O in front of them offer different font style that you can custom with that font. I've chosen the Adeline font, and in the style, I can choose from Run, Satin, Applique, Punto, Spiral, or Run with default with Run. I'm going to choose the default with Run and click Apply. The next thing I'm going to do is to size the word to 2.25 for my letter height and click Apply. Now we're getting the warning that we've exceeded the satin segment of 10 millimeters, but since we're going to change this, I'm just going to click OK. Bring my word back in. Now you notice I have a run outline with a satin fill. In my properties, I'm going to change that fill. And in the properties for the text, we also have the standard and the fancy. And I'm going to stick with standard for now. And I'm going to go with the zigzag and click apply. I really like that zigzag fill. It looks nice. But I also want to customize my run. And I can change from single run to double run, bean, or motif. For these large letters, I really do enjoy the motif runs. So when I use my drop down, I have several of different motif styles to choose from. I really enjoy the candle wicking, so I'm going to use that for right now and apply that. Now, I really do like that candle wicking, but I think it might be a little bit too large of a pattern, so I'm going to cut that in half to a 1.5 millimeter in my pattern size. And that looks much bigger. I'm going to zoom in so you can get a better idea of what that looks like. Looks pretty nice. Let's get back to our regular view. The next step is to save this always, but I want to select a hoop that I can stitch this out in that's going to fit that word always in the hoop, however not be too large, because I don't want to waste stabilizer, and it's always better to hoop with the closest size hoop. FontWorks offers a ruler, a built-in ruler, and I'm going to click on the ruler, click on the left far side of that word, and drag my ruler to the right. Now on the bottom left corner, you're going to see that that distance is 10.53 inches. So it looks like I'm going to have to use my 12 by 8 hoop. So I'm going to select the hoop and choose my 300 millimeter, which is 12 inches, by 200, which is 8, and click apply. I can close my hoop, go to the tools, and center that always into my hoop. Go back to the home page. And now what I can do is I can save this always in my PES and BLF in the event that I need to change it again. What's really nice, as we found out earlier, is to change this always and keep the same properties. All I have to do now is type in kiss me and click apply, and that program will maintain the same style and properties as we had with the always. Make sure it's centered in the hoop. And then the next thing we need to do is type it. And of course, you're going to save this kiss me in the BLF and PES. And then you'll type in good night. Click apply. And as you see, the good night is not going to fit in that 300 by 200 hoop. So I'm just going to go to the hoop selection, select hoop, and the Solaris hoop that I saved earlier in the program, I'm going to choose that and click apply. Go to my tools. I have to close this. Go to my tools, center that in the hoop. And now I'm ready to save that in the BLF and the PES to take to my machine. FontWorks also enables me to be able to print templates. For large font embroidery, this is a nice feature. For the Always Kiss Me Goodnight oversized pillow, I printed the templates for Always Kiss Me and then Goodnight. I put the X and Y axis with my friction pen on my pillow top, and then use my templates to line up from that axis the correct positioning for stitching in the 3 hoopings. Let me show you how I did that. Let's bring in Always. Go to my 3D. And now I'll go to my print icon on the top toolbar. If you notice, I split this into 2 8.5 by 11 pages. My printer prints 8.5 by 11. So in order to have the full-size template, what I want to do is this line here is going to line up with this axis right here. So all you do is match those axes, tape them together, and then you'll do the same for Kiss Me and then Good Night. You'll have your full-size templates then to place on your pillow top for alignment. Here's a close-up of the stitch out for Always Kiss Me Goodnight. I did zoom in on the K and the I just so you could see how nice that stitches out. One of the tools I use for embroidering that oversized bed pillow, the Always Kiss Me Goodnight, was the Snap Hoop Monster Frame. It's a magnetic frame that makes the project so much easier. What a difference using this frame made. There's no tightening, trying to hoop all these layers. I basically laid my Baby Lock tearaway stabilizer down on the bottom part of the frame, placed my pillow top in the area of my first hooping, trying to center those axes I created with my friction pen. Drop that top magnetic piece down and it will automatically connect to that bottom part of that hoop. It just really made a world of difference in my hooping. Large letter appliques are very popular. I'm going to create a baby quilt with my great nephew Ryan's name. I'm using 9.5-inch blocks, which are going to be finished size of 9 inches. I'm going to use a 7-inch applique letter and put one letter in each of those blocks to spell out RYAN. To create my large letter applique, I'm going to click on the AB text on the top tool of FontWorks and click on my design page. I'm going to type in my letter R. And for the style, I wanted to choose a style that had nice, open, basic letters. And the Keepsake did that for me, and it also has the red O, which is for additional options, so I can use the applique style for that. So I'm going to keep it at Keepsake. Go to my style of applique, size my letter to 7 inches, and click apply. Now it's going to default to the satin outline run for my applique, and this is really a nice style. However, with my blanket being like a farmhouse or more rustic style, I wanted to go with another style, and FontWorks offers 3 different types: satin, blanket, and motif. Now, I'm going to do the blanket, but we could have also chose the motif, which offers a variety of different outlines that you could use for the applique. But I'm going to stick with the blanket. Now, the 3.5 stitch length is fine. I do want to space that out a little bit more since this is such a large letter. So I'm going to do a 3.5 on my width. I'm going to keep the density at 2 and the E-center at 100% and click apply. Now you see I have a nice blanket stitch outline for my large letter applique. In the event I wanted to change this up a little bit, I could change that applique E-center. And what that will do is if I put this at 50%, it's going to provide me a 50% length of the original stitch length I've got inserted on every other blanket stitch. But I'm going to keep that at 100% right now. Okay, so now we're ready to go back to our text and do a file. And we want to save it as. First, we want to do our BLF in the event we want to change that. Type in our letter and save it to our flash file. Now, I've already saved these, but I just wanted to, go over saving these with you again. And then, of course, you're going to save it as your stitch file format. But right now, we're going to cancel that. Now, to go to the Y, all we have to do, because the program saves all of the properties for this letter, is we're going to just type in the letter Y and click apply. Now I'm going to show my hoop. Since these are 7-inch letters, I'm going to show my 8-inch hoop. And close that. And then I'm going to center that. So under my tools, I can center that in the hoop. Let's bring that backward and view it. And then I would normally save that as the BLF. R. Since you've already saved the BLF on the R, it really isn't necessary since you can change those again. But you could change that as your PES, or save that as your PES, and then go on to the A. Type in the A. It's going to keep the same properties, but we always need to recenter. And then we're going to go to the N. Click apply, and let's center that in the hoop. Now you can see that we have the placement stitch for the number 1, the tack down, that's going to tack down your applique fabric, and then your blanket stitch. I fused Ultra Soft Fusible Stabilizer to the back of my quilt block. Then I hooped sticky stabilizer in my 8x8 hoop. Then I placed the quilt block on my frame, centering that. As you can see here, I stitched out the placement stitch. That is a run stitch, And when I put my applique fabric over that, I'm going to know for sure that I've covered the entire applique letter. After tacking down the applique fabric, the next step is to trim the applique fabric right to the stitching line. I used my Ginger applique shears for this, and it did a great job. The next step will be to put your hoop back onto the frame and just complete the blanket stitch to complete your block.
I hope you've enjoyed learning about some of the customizing features in FontWorks in the presentation today. And if you're interested in purchasing FontWorks, Phil's Sewing Machine is offering a limited quantity at 50% off. Please click on the description for more details.